sometimes you're told that if you want to do something, you just have to go out there and do it. You don't say, "Oh, I want to be a an engineer," and you never do anything in engineering. So a lot of stuff I say I want to do, I never really get out there and do it. You know, I will say, "Yeah, I want to do this." Okay, let's be specific. I always say I don't like the job that I do, my full time job. Okay, so what are you going to do to get out of that? You know, uh, it's very difficult because some things in my life it's very easy to do, and then other things are hard, which I guess is that's why they, you know, it's hard to do because it's not easy. It's not something that comes to you right away. It's not something that comes to you naturally. And one thing that's never come to me naturally is uh, being able to have self control over things that I need self control over. So, for example, drinking alcohol. I don't have a desire for that, so that's very easy for me to have self control over. Eating. That's my big problem. I don't have a problem with alcohol, drugs, money spending. Well, sometimes money spending, but nothing crazy. Um, I can be very frugal at times, but when it comes to the eating, oh my gosh. Oh, that has caused so many headaches in my life. So many problems in my life. I mean, really. So many, so many, so many. And I mean, from health wise, well, they're all health wise because when, me with my weight, which is over 400 pounds, 407 at the last weight, a few weeks ago. Well, actually, 410. I had put on 3 pounds within like a week or two. I had these two doctor appointments a week or two apart, and gained 3 pounds. I probably gained more since then. Just got finished eating a huge big breakfast, 4 eggs, like four big thick sausage links, Italian sausage links. Eggs with cheese on. I made a couple of sandwiches, like three or four sandwiches out of it. So yeah, it's a lot. And hopefully now me just talking about it will kind of get it into my head to kind of cut this out and you know uh, kind of deal with this situation. But so that's my main thing. Uh, I don't have self control over eating. I don't know what. I mean, this is since I was little, since I was younger. I had to be told to stop eating. Or told it's not lunchtime yet, it's not dinner time yet. You can't still be hungry, you know, after eating, with the family or whatever. Or well, we never really had family sit down dinners, but eating whatever meal was bought for me, and I ate in my room or ate in the basement or whatever. So after eating that, and come back looking for more, it's like a cat or a dog you keep feeding, and they come back looking for more. And it's like I don't have any more. We You gotta wait till the next day till he cooks some more food for you for you to eat. And then I will always hear from my parents, my mom and my dad probably too sometimes, like, well, you can't still be hungry. I mean, you just ate, so you can't be hungry. Uh, and that was I don't know. Not now that I'm even talking about it, thinking in my head about it, it is very weird. Well, not weird, but it's just strange that I don't have that self control over that problem. Um, yeah, I don't know. It's got me speechless now. You know, because so many other things I can control in my life. And well, actually, the two main things that are really bothering me now. One's the food. You know, I did kind of change for like a month or so, but I have a problem with sticking with consistency, and that's probably anyone that probably anyone goes through that is addicted to something or has a hard time stopping something. That's where your self control comes in, and that when you're not controlling yourself, you're not able to sustain consistency. Because you want to stick to a plan, you want to stick to a program, but you're not able to because you are an addict, someone that needs help, someone has a problem. So how can you expect yourself to deal with a situation normally when you're acting in an abnormal way? You know, uh, so it's kind of preaching to the choir right now. Well, not preaching to the choir, but preaching to myself now. Talking to myself about it. And so that's the main thing. The eating is the one main thing. The other main thing is trying to find joy in life, uh, happiness in life, and maybe not even happiness, but just a comfortableness. You know, not always feeling like, oh, why is this life so long? Why do I have to sit at this desk at this job? And you don't, you know. And sometimes, for myself, I do it because sometimes you need the money to pay the bills, or you don't really have anything else to really do at that point. I trying to get more into this type of media, podcasting, or either um live audio engineering, TV studio producing, and stuff like that. I enjoy that stuff, and I'm probably more better at interviewing than talking. But so to try to solve one of my problems about my first problem is the eating. The second one is what I'm trying to get to is finding something that I enjoy in life. Uh, because life is pretty short. I'm 33 now, but next thing you know, it's going to be 40, 50, and then it's going to be like, okay, now you've been at your job 25 years or something, which I've already been there 12 years now. So I'm thinking double that time from now, and you're going to be sitting there still in the same spot, in the same office, the same people, and what have you done? What have you pushed forward towards in your goals? That's another thing. I never had goals in my life. You know, not once can I think of a goal other than losing weight, which I failed at. I don't know how many times over and over. Um, so yesterday, to try to solve one of my problems, to find a hobby in my life, the audio or TV or some type of media, electronic media that I like. I went to a orientation yesterday, Thursday, the on the 8th of August, and it is for the public access channel here in Philadelphia, and they have opportunities for me to volunteer, to help out, and to learn. Learn by going to workshops. I can produce my own shows and put on there. I can do, a number of things. So I think that'll be really good for me. And but it's funny, talk about consistency and not sticking to a plan. So a few weeks ago I registered for the course. Well, not for the course, but for the orientation. So you go on the website and you join. You join for $25 for a year to be a member of the public access channel, here in Philadelphia. So I did it a few weeks ago. I started at my website, CameronAvant.com. I put some pictures up there that I've been taking around the city, that I've edited with the software. Made a little website up. I was all excited about media and everything, and then the day comes when it's time to do the orientation, and I just want to leave work and go home. But the problem is, I get off of work like around 3:30, so I had to try to figure out how to waste 2 hours or about an hour worth of time. Well, no, about 2 hours worth of time, because the orientation didn't start until 6:30, and I take the bus and the trolley and stuff to work. So by the time I would have gotten from my job down to Center City, the downtown area where the orientation was held, I would have gotten there too early. It would have been like around 4 o'clock. I would have gotten there 4:30, and I would have sat around for 2 hours. So with that on my mind, and also not really feel like going because I just wanted to go home and just eat and just relax, relaxing for what? I don't know. I sit at my desk all day and push paperwork and, work on the computer. Not like I'm out there breaking bricks and, lifting stuff and, really, doing back-breaking work, just waking up early, going from one place to the other place to sit for 8.5 hours, and then go back home and then go home and sit again. But so in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, yeah, I just want to go home and eat. I don't want to go to this orientation. I can go to the next one, even though I know they only have them once a month. I'm still thinking, well, I could just go to the next one. Then I said, no, just go in and waste some time. So I end up getting on the train. I rode the train back and forth, and then I got on another train, rode that. I rode that back into town, and I was able to burn up about an hour and a half, and I got there like around 6. I just sat around for like about 25, 30 minutes until they started at 6:30. But that's another example of where I was just like, oh, I don't want to go, I don't want to do this, I don't, there's self-control, the discipline, the sticking to a plan, sticking to a program. So I'm really glad that I did go. Met some interesting people. It's interesting when you meet people that are into the same thing you're into. It doesn't have to be specifically what you're into. But I did meet one person that's into podcasting and actually doing a podcast now. A lady named of Autumn Simmons, the Talk Fusion, I think it's called, podcast. And another guy that's been in radio for a while. He does a show out of West Philly. Met a guy who's like an animator. Met a guy who's a revolutionary and a Civil War reenactor and plays the flute and is like a composer and into classical music and everything. And so that was pretty interesting. But it was good to go. I'm not really my first objective is to run rather than, they have a thing called a fight or flight in psychology. Are you going to stick around and fight when something goes wrong, or where you feel like a type of anxiety or uncomfortableness? Are you going to run, flight, or are you going to stay and fight? and fight in the terms of, am I going to stay here and stick it out? Like yesterday when I didn't feel like going to the orientation, am I going to fight it? Fight the desire to leave and just, go ahead and work out a plan where I could burn 2 hours and, still show up and then, enjoy myself. So my first objective is not to talk to people. My first objective is to flight, to run, to get away. I would like to sit by myself. I like to, be alone. I mean, I went to the movies last Sunday alone. I saw a good movie. It's called 20 Feet from Stardom. It's about background singers through like the rock era with the Rolling Stones, Led Zeppelin, um, and other type of songs that these ladies, black ladies, sung on, and then their struggle to kind of get like solo careers and everything. And the struggle between being a background singer and going out on your own. And those type of struggles. But so I did that last week. So I'm a loner really. Um, that's probably why this podcasting thing is kind of good. Kind of just be on my own, be by myself, and kind of do my own thing. Even though I do like to talk to people, but not talk with them. I like to know about them, because I'm interested in people. When I ride the bus and the train and everything to work, I like to look at people, see what's going on with them. I like to see, I wonder, oh, is that person, you can look at people's clothes and say, oh, I wonder, do they always dress that nice? First, it's funny, when I turned a certain age for women, I always looked at their left hand to see if they're married now. I don't know why. I don't know if it was when I turned 30, because I'm 33 now, but I don't know if it was when I turned 30 I started doing that. But at some point in the last few years, I started doing that. We're looking at the person's hand, their left hand, and see if they're married or not. And then, because I would always assume that, you have a ring on your left hand, you're married, and that's that. Then I found out a few years ago that some women just put a ring. I was at a wedding and was talking to this, we're all sitting at the round table, during the reception after the wedding. And I said, oh, you're married or whatever, and, just talking. I think she was with an older guy, and she was kind of young. I was like, oh, wow, they're married? Like, he was, like, really, like, 80 or something, and she was, like, 30 or 30-something or something. It was like, wow. And he had all this gold on and everything, the rings on, like an old pip or something, And I think either I asked her or someone at the table asked her, are you married? And she said, no. And I said, well, you have a ring on. It's like, yeah. So I started asking the other ladies at the table. I said, well, when you wear a ring, doesn't that mean you're married? And they were like, no, not always. Some women just put a ring on their ring finger. I'm like, okay, I guess it's to keep the guys away or something. I don't know. So sometimes when I see that, nowadays on the trolley or the bus, train or whatever I'm riding, if I see someone with a ring on their finger, I'm wondering, okay, why? Okay, are they really married, or are they just wearing that to keep the guys away? So, and then sometimes it's just like a little tiny thing and stuff that doesn't really look like a wedding band, but then it could be one of those things where the ring is passed down through the family, and so I don't know. I'm all confused sometimes, but I sometimes I like to ask them, hey, is this a ring like because you're married, or just because you want to keep guys off, or is it a memory of your ex, like an ex-husband or a husband that died or something, so I'm more comfortable thinking about people and uh, talking about them, trying to understand them. So that's why I think I would be better as an interviewer and not better, on my own like this, because I don't really have anything to promote of my own. I don't really have anything that I'm really into, or I don't have anything like where I just like to talk about myself. I don't really have strong stances, strong opinions. Um, I don't really have things where I say, well, this is how I definitely feel. This is what I think, should be this or should be that. Some things I do, but I'm more open and more listening to everyone and then kind of coming up with what makes more sense to me. Uh, so I don't know. But so hopefully I'll be able to interview some people maybe. This is one uh, lady I want to interview. Man, I can't think of the name of the newspaper. But there's a group in Philadelphia uh, that the homeless people have a newspaper that they actually sell and they write articles in. And today's Friday. She's actually down there today, selling the papers and everything. And I told her one time I wanted to interview her. I just had to figure out how to get some equipment down there. I want to just use. I wanted to sound good, but I may just use like my recorder I have, my Sony handheld recorder. I might just use that. I don't know. But so that's one person I thought about interviewing. I'm probably good at that because even when I was talking after the orientation yesterday, the orientation for the public television, a new members kind of orientation. I was speaking with uh, the person I mentioned earlier that has the podcast, Autumn Simmons, I think her last name is. I don't even have the card here with me, but the Talk Fusion podcast. I was speaking with her. At some point, I was just like, okay, I have to let you go because she was kind of like, okay, I gotta go. But I had a lot of questions about podcasts. I had a lot of questions about her. Just I like to find out about people, but sometimes it seems like after you find out about someone, it's like, oh, okay, now I know them, or now, but really you don't because I've had friends where you think you know stuff about them, and then you're finding stuff out years later, 10, 15, 20 years later, you're like, oh, you never told me that story. You never told me about that. You never told me that happened to you. And so sometimes, you talk to somebody one time, even if you talk for 4 or 5 hours, you're not going to know everything about them. Because it's stuff that they're not comfortable to talk about. It's stuff that they haven't opened up about yet. It's stuff that, you didn't ask the right questions or you guys didn't go past that, past that point somehow to try to get at the right stuff. So, you never know what, you could find out just by talking with someone. But yeah, I like just, and even the guy that I was speaking with, during the orientation, and I just happened to speak with him because like I said earlier, I don't really like to talk to people. It's really hard for me to kind of open up and talk to people. I rather like if I'm interested in something to do, I'll ask them about themselves, but I don't really have anything to kind of share back and forth about myself or anything. But during the orientation, there was a like an icebreaker, sort of like, okay, introduce yourself to the person next to you, and have that person uh, introduce yourself. So the guy next to me will introduce me after I told him a little bit about me, and then I will introduce him after talking to him for a few minutes, and he gave me his information and everything. So afterwards, I was talking to that guy, the guy that I had to introduce, Antoine, the Revolutionary War and Civil War reenactor, and also character type of actor too, where he dress up in a period garb and do like a person, like if someone wanted to be like an Abraham Lincoln, the guy dresses up as Abraham Lincoln, and they kind of do the speeches and the Emancipation Proclamation and all that type of stuff. So he was telling me about that, and then also about his music and everything. And I was like, wow, I could talk to him for hours. I was even thinking I should interview some of those people there. as my podcast because some of them were really interesting. Um, but I probably should do it. That'd probably be a good idea. I probably should do that. And yeah, I think I will do that. Yeah, I think I will hit up a couple of those people and say, hey, I'm trying to get this podcast started. Um, you know, let's interview. Let's talk. Because even when I was talking to that guy, there was another guy that was his friend that was there, and he was sharing information with us, and then we were both learning about stuff. I forget what he told. Man, I forget what he told me already. He told me something, because he's a real history buff. So it was something about history, and I was like, "Oh, I never knew that." He was like, "Yeah." But a real smart guy, real smart. You talk to people like that, it's like, wow, way behind, way behind. And another thing I noticed, um, uh, Autumn Simmons that I hope her last name is Simmons. I think it is. But she gave me a link to her website. She gave me a business card or whatever, and gave me a link to her website. So I was listening to her podcast. She has like a group of podcasts up there. She's been doing it for almost a year now. And I think about 8 or 9 months. So I hear her, and I'm like, wow, a nice voice. So I only had to listen to about 15 minutes or so. They were talking about Django Unchained, which I like to call the Django, just to mess with people sometimes, or just so they can correct me. Like, the D is silent. Just like to mess with people sometimes. I like doing that sometimes, but I mean, I even took a picture today of a sign that had violators, but it was spelled VIOLATERS. It said violators will be fined if you park here or something. I just had to take a picture of it, Anytime I see someone trying to make a rule or state something strong, and then they misspell it, it's like, well, you kind of took away from your point. Like you want to put, it was a huge yellow sign, no parking, violators will be towed, but it was VIOLATERS instead of TORS. And I was like, it kind of takes away from your point now. I wonder if you could argue that in court, that it said violators, which I don't even think is a word, instead of violators. And say, Your Honor, I didn't know he was. What do you mean violators? I never heard of that before. So I'm not a violator. I may be a violator, but I'm not a violator. I'll tell you that right now. So I wonder if someone could get away with that in court or whatever. But they may say, you knew what it meant. It's the spirit of the law or something, or, who knows. But anyway, when I heard her voice, I said, oh, man, that's a good, calming, type of voice and everything. But, hey, my voice is my voice. But I think if I ever do TV, like if I ever produce TV shows at the as part of the public access channel, which is it's called Philly Cam, is the organization. Um, I think I'm not going to do the interviews on camera and stuff, and I would like this type of interview session, radio, well not radio, but podcast type of a situation, but not really a on camera type of thing, because I think it's very distracting. This radio is kind of more personal. Well, podcasting is kind of more personal. You can sit with the person and kind of just talk back and forth. And I think interviewing, you need a different style, maybe. And I'm not sure if I'm real comfortable with the cameras on me, and especially at the weight that I am at now, over 400, like 410, 410 pounds. I don't know if I want to be on camera and a stuffy suit and everything. And I do like wearing suits, but I just don't know if I would feel comfortable. Plus, I get hot too. Big men, they get hot. So with the lights on me and everything, and so. But I think I would get someone either like her with her voice and personality to do the interviews for me. Like if I could, set it up with her, and say, hey, this is how I want to kind of do it, or or somebody else, that I would find interesting as far as their personality, their questioning, because I don't even know. I would to listen to more of her podcast, or anyone else's podcast to kind of figure out who they are, because are they going to question how I would question, or are they going to include themselves in everything. So I think the good thing about me interviewing, I don't really have a lot of relatable things with people, so I can interview them and not even relate to them, so I can just dig and okay, feed me more knowledge. I need more knowledge. I need to understand better. I need to know better about what you're talking about. You know. So, but if you have a knowledge of something they're speaking about already, then you kind of just skim over the subject instead of digging into it. You want to understand it more on a deeper level. So I think I'll be good at interviewing, but I don't know if I'll be good on the TV side of things. But I want to learn all of it. You know. But that was just kind of like an inspiration when I listened to that podcast. I was like, oh yeah, that sounds good. And like I started out with in the beginning, if you don't do anything, like if you say you want to be in something and you're not doing, like if you want to learn how to ride a bicycle and you just keep talking about it and you never get on the darn bike, then what are you doing? So if I say I want a podcast and never do a podcast or never try it, I mean it's not like it's that difficult. I bought all this equipment probably over a year or two now ago. Got the M audio, but well, it's not an M audio box, but it's the audio, whatever they call it. I forget. Now I bought it so long ago. Now I forget what it's called. And I got two good microphones, so I even have another good mic where I can interview someone, and it's crazy. You do all that, and you don't even set yourself. I had the setup and everything. I never did anything with it. So, but that's that. I guess I might have to call this podcast the get to know me podcast. Maybe I don't know. Well, I know one thing. I've been using a different. I'm switching. Well, when I went to do my website, you have to go in there and you have to search for the domain name, the .com to see if it's available. And I've been going by Cameron Driver, most of my life. But really, I have a hyphenated name. It's Avant Driver, So I've always just used Driver, my whole life. So when I went on the website, I mean, when I went to go look for the domain name, I looked for CameronDriver.com, which I actually had years ago when I was in web design school, about maybe 8 years ago now, maybe 2005, maybe about 8 or 9 years ago, maybe 10 years ago, I don't know, may have been 2002, 2003. Wow, talk about not, I didn't finish that. I was one course shy. I finished the course but didn't do the project for the database class. So I didn't finish that, but that goes back to sticking with the plan, sticking with the program. I've always had trouble trouble with that stuff. And I like the course. I mean, I went a whole year. It was great. The whole web design courses. You take a whole bunch of courses. I liked it and everything. I just didn't finish at the end because I was on vacation. I was supposed to email in my homework for the last project and didn't do it. And I should have, because I would have had that certificate or whatever they give you, at the end of it. But that just goes back to kind of doing what I want to do, and okay, I'm on vacation. I don't feel like doing that, so I'm not going to feel like doing it. Just like I didn't feel like going to the orientation last night. I had to kind of fight instead of flighting, where in my web design class, I flew, I took the flight on instead of the fight on, But anyway, so I, why did I bring up the web design class? Hmm. Oh well. Oh, the domain name. So back then, 10 or 12 years ago, I had CameronDriver.com. I had bought it for the class. I was going to put some stuff on there and everything. Upload a web page that I built through Dreamweaver or whatever. And then now I went back to go look for the name, and it's not there. Someone has it. It's like a manufacturing or machine company or something. So I guess the guy's name is Cameron Driver, maybe. I don't know. Or his name is Cameron, and his company has to do with drivers. I'm not really sure, but so so they had that taken up, so I had to find a different name. So I went with my other last name, basically, CameronAvant.com, which I kind of like that better. So that may be my professional type of name as far as audio, TV type of world. Cameron Avant. Cameron Avant. I would say my name so fast, and if you can't understand any of this podcast, I do mumble sometimes. I do stutter over my words, or I stutter sometimes, or if you hear me take a break sometimes, if there's a lag between saying something, or if you hear a word go, I'm trying to get it out. Sometimes there is a dramatic pause, but most of the time it's just me trying to get out a word. So yeah. So what else? So we'll see how it goes. Maybe I'll just bring up a different subject every time and come on here and talk about it, and you know see how that goes. I know the one thing that I'm gonna take a break here. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Just had to go get a drink of water real quick. Use the bathroom real quick. So oh yeah, so hopefully I know what I was gonna talk about. So recently I've been ever since I went to so this Philly Cam thing, the public access channel, I found out about it just by walking by one day. I was headed to the Philadelphia History Museum that they just opened up right next to where Philly Cam is. This is basically at 7th and Market, 7th and Market Street in Center City, Philadelphia, which is, downtown Philadelphia. We called ours the Center City. I remember Chef Ramsay from what's that show called? I know, you're all yelling it out right now. Something Chef Ramsay, chopped, no, not chopped. Well, whatever his show is, he comes in and Hell's Kitchen. So he was here in Philadelphia. It was like a seafood or a lobster or crab cake. Oh, potato soup place. That was like their specialty. It's called Spud or Potato or something. I think it was like on Girard Avenue. Uh, kind of in that Northern Liberty section, I think, maybe around there. So he was here, and he didn't call it Center City. He called it Central. No, he called it Center. No, he called it City Center. I like that, City Center. So sometimes when I think about it, I call it that, City Center. Um, Hopefully it annoys people sometimes when I say it, but I haven't been able to say it too much because I don't really say Center City that much. I'll say downtown or something. But and I have to get used to kind of switching it from Center City to City Center, because I think that does sound better, City Center. But so anyway, oh yes, I'm walking by and up 7th Street, looking for this Philadelphia History Museum. That's a new museum here in Philadelphia, and I walked past this big open window thing. It says Philly Cam. I was like, oh, I wonder what this thing is. Like because I saw a big TV screen up on the wall, and I saw people kind of just hanging around in this little area, on their laptops or whatever. And I saw a thing that said free Wi-Fi connect, and I had like the password there. You could connect. I was like, I wonder what this place is. Is it just hanging around or whatever? I was like, Philly camp. First thing I thought was it's like a thing, like a camera that's on someone and following them. As far as like people do these art exhibits where they have a camera watch them all day. Watch them sleep, watch them eat, watch them, do whatever, give birth or, whatever, and they just live stream it, So I thought that maybe that's what it was. It was somebody's cam, like their camera on them, a Philly camera on them or something. I don't know. And then, my nickname is Cam. People call me that because of Cameron. So that kind of sparked my interest a little bit too. So I said, let me walk in there. So I walked around the corner. And this is me in a good mood. This is me, feeling good. I was walking around downtown, working up a good little sweat, get some exercise. And I felt good. I felt like talking. I felt like finding out what was going on. If this was the other me that, didn't feel like interacting, which is my natural state, that's my baseline, is the Cameron that doesn't feel like interacting with anyone, just wants to be left alone. I would have walked right past the place, I probably wouldn't even be heading to the museum, so I probably wouldn't even have been on that street, So anyway, I was in a good mood. I go in there, talk to the guy. He explains it to me. I'm like, wow, this is exactly what I've been looking to do. Like, I wanted my hobby to be in TV production or TV podcasting, something, something with media. I was like media, it was always interested me. Ever since just like, hooking up speakers in my room as a kid, splicing the wires together, putting 5 or 6 speakers around my room and, all that kind of stuff, I was always into sound and, all that stuff. Um, so when he told me that, I was like, wow, this is great. He said, yeah, you just missed the orientation because this was in July. They do the orientation once a month. So he said, yeah, you just missed the orientation. So, you have to come back and do the orientation in August, and you can join, the membership fee. It's $25. You pay that. You just come to the orientation and, you can take workshops and everything and, you can borrow equipment. You could become part of the family, basically, part of his media family. So I was like, wow, that's great, Um, so that's how I kind of found out about Philly Cam, the public access channel. So hopefully I stick with it, keep doing this podcast or something, and we'll see. No, but I've been so recently. So ever since I did the Philly, ever since I went in there and talked about the Philly Cam, going in there and find out about it. I've been trying to write down ideas in my, if you hear me trying to, sorry, I'm flipping through my phone to try to find out. I put different areas in, I've been emailing myself, ideas like, okay, this might be a funny thing, for my podcast or, because I also want to try stand-up comedy at some point too. So I've been writing down funny stuff that I see on the bus or funny stuff that I see, you know, around Philadelphia or whatever. So between trying to write down funny jokes or funny bits, I've been trying to write down good ideas, like people to interview. Like when I thought about the homeless lady, well, girl actually, she's not, that old. I just say lady out of respect, even Autumn, who has the podcast that I mentioned earlier. I call her a lady, but I mean, she's probably my age or something like that. But I don't know. I don't feel comfortable calling her a girl. Like, oh yeah, the girl I met the other day, or the lady, or woman. Maybe I should use woman. Maybe woman sounds better. Lady sounds like an older milady, like a UK British, all that stuff. But anyway, I don't even understand UK British, England. Someone explained it to me before. I think the UK is in England. That's the country, or is UK the country and England is a little part of? Or is Britain a little part of the UK of England? Or anyway, I look it up. That's how I learn. Look it up. But yeah. Oh yeah, so I've been writing down stuff on my phone, and emailing it to myself, And the thing I saw today was a nice, attractive. Here we go again, lady or woman. Nice, attractive. And to me, attractiveness is it's kind of all different, really. Because some people can say, "Oh, that girl or that woman is ugly." I'm just going to use girl. Oh, that girl is ugly. See, I think you can use girl when they're the same age as you, or within that same age range. Because I'm thinking now, my dad, he was talking about something, and he said, a girl he was talking to, and he's 60 something, 65, 60, something. So yes, I think it's okay to use girl or woman, female, female. I like female. You like female? I don't know, female. Okay, so an attractive, a nice looking female gets on the bus. And guys can spot guys can spot a female from. Oh man, we have like if women want to accuse men of not paying attention and stuff, and one thing we could pay attention to is women. We could spot a woman, a, a woman that made me laugh because this guy I used to work with when I volunteered used to say women's with an S, and he would say nieces for mice. But anyway, that's why I was giggling. That sounded like him. But yeah, men can spot women from like 2 miles away. Like we could be like, is that? Uh, this is how it goes in a guy's head, right? A guy will say, okay, I see a figure 2 miles out, or I can see a figure across the mall or across the supermarket. Okay, is it a man or a woman? Woman. Okay, cool. Let's zoom in a little deeper. Okay, what's her body look like? Because you can't see a face from that far back. You zoom in and say, okay, what's the body look like? Looks nice in those jeans and pants, slim shoulders. Okay, zoom in some more. Let me check out the details of what she's wearing or whatever. And then as you zoom in closer, you're like, oh, the face looks nice. Like the hair, a little bit of weave. I don't know if I like that. Okay. Um, no blemishes on the face. Okay, that looks good. Looks good. Now look, men, and this brings me to the woman today that I saw getting on the bus, or the girl I saw the attractive, well, the female getting on the bus today. Well, the discussing face. She had a nice face. I don't know what a nice face is. I guess round is better than a pointy chin, maybe. That's what I've been noticing, like looking at different women. Like, why do I? If two women are sitting together, I'm like, why do I like that one better than that one? I think it's the face. If it's not, it has to be like a round face with a chin kind of wraps around and not pointed, and all that. But anyway, look at the face. I'm like, okay, yeah, she looks nice. She, has a nurse outfit on. A lot of people in the city, they work in the hospital or something. We have so many darn hospitals here. She gets on with her scrubs, and they wear those fancy tops, like the scrub tops that'll have animals on it, or little whatever a design on. They try to make them kind of better than just some green scrubs. They try to make it a nice little outfit or whatever. So she gets on, and she walks past me. I'm like, oh, why the hair on the lip? The mustache. I'm like, man, everything else looks nice on you. And she looked a little mad, but that's a different thing. Most women look mad in Philly. But I'm like, man, I don't. And someone told me before about the hair on the mustache or hair under the chin. It was like you don't really pick it a lot, or you don't want to shave it a lot because then it just grows back faster. But I'm thinking, well, hers was kind of thick, so why not? Because it doesn't get that thick overnight. So, and even in a week, it probably doesn't get that thick. So that's probably 2 weeks of thickness. So why not just wax it every week and just stay up on it and keep waxing or whatever? But Anyway, some men have actually, I've actually heard from some men where they say they like it. You know, they like a little peach fuzz on top of the lip. You know, but I don't know. Now I know I've seen on white women or white females if they're kind of blonde and they have a little bit of that hair on their arm and it kind of hits the sun the right way, that looks nice. It's like a peach fuzz on the arm, real light kind of hair, and that sun hits it. You know, with their complexion and with that blonde hair color on the arm, that looks nice. But I don't know, some men, you know, I mean, it's just a little hair mustache, but I don't know. But that was one of the notes I wrote down in my phone today. You know, something funny to talk about or whatever. So I don't know. You know, you see different things around the city, and you're like, oh wow, yeah, I can talk about that. Oh yeah, that's funny. Or you know, I wrote down another thing. Another thing I wrote down is why do we use the phrase 50 million? Because I think I heard a woman on the. I'm gonna take a sip of water. So I think I heard a woman on the bus, either in an argument or talking with someone, and she kept using that 50 million. You know, 50 million times I gotta tell you, or 50 million times I've told you. I just wrote that on my phone. Like, where did we get that phrase 50 million from? Like, why not? I've told you that a million times, but it's always 50 million. I thought that was funny. Like, I wonder where we got that from. That 50 million. I've told you 50 million times we're not going to talk about this, or 50 million times something, something. I told you 50 million times to pick up this or that. You know, you hear your mom or somebody as a kid say that. But that was another funny observation. I don't know. So, all right. So this is about 52 minutes or so, whatever. So I guess we wrap it up. Um, I guess I'm going to post this somewhere, a website or something. I don't know. So we will see, and we will. You know, I gotta find some music to put on here, like for an intro, an outro. Maybe I can get someone to record, like an intro for me and do like, you know, now coming to you, the Cameron Driver. That's another thing. What am I gonna call it? And Cameron Driver podcast, the Cameron Driver, uh, show. I don't know. I mean, well, not Cameron, but Cameron Avant, the Cameron Avant show, the Cameron Avant podcast, Cameron's View. I don't know. We will see. A lot of stuff has to be planned out and figured out. I don't know, but this seemed kind of fun. I don't know. I enjoyed it. We'll find some subjects to talk about next time, I guess, and see if we can get an interview. You know, to interview someone. See how that goes. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Okay, yeah, I gotta find an intro though, and like an outro. Start the music up here. You know, it plays out. You talk or whatever, and leave the website, the Twitter, all that stuff at the end. But the website and the website is just photography, just different pictures I've taken around the city. You know, I just take different pictures and then do some software editing to it to make it look cool, or you know, make it look different ways. I think that's what I'm going to do now. Go in there and work on my profile on the Fully Cam website. Go in there and work on that, and yeah, I'll probably do that because they said you can upload photos and stuff there. So maybe I'll try to put some of my photos up on the bulletin board there. But yeah, I got to get an intro and an outro somehow, some way. But okay. See you when I see you.